excited, obviously, to be just a few days away. It's a long time coming for us. It seems like an eternity ago. Repeating myself, I'm sure, if anybody's heard me talk, but the situation that happened last year was a tough one that everybody was involved in it. So it wasn't an isolated thing, obviously, with us, but we felt good about our team last year, and that opportunity came and went, and it's been a long process. Can't recall in all my life being involved in sports, being away from the game this long, in terms of not being able to play games and competing and things like that. So it was, for us, everything's kind of new challenges with everything that's going on and everybody's aware of with the COVID. And obviously we're opening up on the road first time. And I can recall, I think since 1997, we're going to open up on the road. And of course, playing obviously the top ranked team in the country here preseason with Florida, which returns all their players. Our guys are very excited. We got a lot of new fresh faces, 20 new players to go along with 15 returning guys. And our roster probably will be one of the smaller ones. Back in the, normal rules is you're allowed to have 35-man rosters. This year they have it unlimited due to the COVID and the 5 rounds and the extra year of eligibility for players, that some rosters are really stacked. You're going to have some teams with 50 players and 45 players, and I don't know how coaches will handle that, but 35 is what we have, and we feel very good about our depth, both offensively and on the mound. But a lot of new guys, so it's going to be right out of the gate. We're going to get tested, which I think is great for our program, great for our players, and it's a great opportunity for us to make a statement. And so with that said, I just, excited. Like I said, a long time coming. We're pretty much tired of playing against each other and scrimmaging against each other. We're happy to be out hitting the road and being able to play somebody else. That's all I got.
Our first question for you comes from Christopher Stock of InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Just curious if you've made a decision on your starting rotation and if you can make an announcement with those guys and your thoughts on those 3.
Yeah, we're going to go Fetterman. Daniel Fetterman will be our Friday night guy. He's obviously a veteran guy that's been kind of a jack of all trades for us. He's was our closer last year, pitched some setup. He has started some games early in his career, and but more been out of the bullpen. I think he feels much more comfortable as a starter, and of course has always wanted to start, but he's done whatever we've asked of him over his 4 years now here with us. So he'll be our Friday night guy, going with the experience. The guy's a strike thrower and throws 3 pitches for strikes and is very competitive. And then we're going to go with Alejandro Rosario, freshman from down here, Miami Christian kid. That's one of the top recruits in the country to show up on campus. He's been everything that we thought he'd be and more. He just throws a lot of strikes and goes after hitters, very competitive. He's got one of the better arms you'll see, although he's only probably 6 foot, 6'1", 180 pounds. It's probably one of the quicker arms you're going to see. And so he's going to be our Saturday guy. And then Sunday, we're going to go with another freshman named Victor Medeiros from Westminster Christian, another local guy who's also another high recruit that showed up on campus. These are our top guys that came in, and he's another power arm. He's a bigger, more prototypical looking right-handed pitcher. He's probably 6'4" and 215 pounds, but he's got a very, very good breaking ball, throws very hard, and we're gonna give these freshmen, they deserve it. They've over time, I think Alejandro's been maybe more consistent in the fall and spring, whereas Victor, as of late, has really pitched well up to his potential that we thought he would do. So he's earned the right to get that opportunity. So we're going to go with those 3 guys.
Great. Next up, we have Matt Shodel of Kanesport. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Gino, how you doing?
Good, Matt. How you doing?
Doing fine. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about pitching. I mean, everyone knows about your hitting you have coming back. You said the 3 starters. You talked about them. I appreciate that. Can you also weigh in? Do you know yet who your midweek guy would be or the 4th guy will be when it comes to that? And I guess it's not really a traditional midweek, but just who your 4th guy would be. And then also your bullpen. I assume you're probably going with Wenger as the closer, but can you talk about maybe who, if that is the closer, talk about him, and then also maybe the top 2 middle relief guys?
Yeah. So we haven't, Matt, we have not announced that to our players as of yet, which we will. I mean, obviously your closer, your setup guy, those guys need to know where they fit, and the other guys too, for that matter. I'll start with the 4th guy first. The 4th guy, we don't have to make that call as of yet. You know, I'd hate to make that call, and then we still have 3 weeks to go before we play a midweek game. And then maybe that guy's going to throw out of the pen, obviously, these first 3 weekends, whoever the 4th is. And we have an idea who they are, but we haven't really picked one specifically, and it could change. Their opportunities are going to dictate who is that 4th guy when we, looking at my schedule here, I think it's March 9th against FAU. So we still have time before that happens. In regards to the pen, yeah, I mean, Wenger is a guy that we were looking at as well as Carson Palmquist as our closer. So we haven't made this. Well, we have made the decision. We just haven't told the guys yet. And I think JD is going to meet with the guys today. But I don't think it'll be a surprise to our players. You're basically going off of performance and, who has performed better in this situation. But I'm happy with both. I know both guys have thrown well. Ben's thrown well of late, which is great. And Carson's been very consistent throughout the fall and spring. We should be deeper in the bullpen. I say that, but, again, the guys got to step up and do the job. We got a number of guys that we can go to in the pen that we feel good about. So that's kind of where we stand right now with that.
All right, next up we have David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Gino. Wanted to ask you a little about starting off with Florida, because last year that obviously was, in a lot of ways, kind of like the one lasting memory from the season. Obviously, a big series, a lot of close games. Just you guys, like I said, had those 3 close losses last year. How much does thinking about that series last year is kind of the one really big moment you guys had, just kind of still weigh with this group of guys who obviously want to try to snap that losing streak to the Gators?
Yeah. Well, it was tough. You're right. I mean, the games, if I remember correctly, 2 of them went extra innings and 1 were down to the last strike in the last inning. And but they outplayed us. They won in our own park. So you got to give them credit. Look, Florida's been a very good program for a long time. It's not just they're doing it to Miami. They're doing it to everybody. Just so happens they're our rival, and we don't like it. I don't like losing, period. Certainly don't like losing to them. But this is going to be a great test right out of the gate, because they got basically everybody back. Their offense and their pitching, everybody's back. And so, as I'm sure you can see, the expectations for them, I think every poll they're ranked preseason #1. This will be a good test for us. It's the national championship game isn't going to be played on Friday night. But we're going to go in there Friday afternoon, I should say. But we're going to go in there with the expectations that we always do, that we expect to win the game just like we did last year. To me, the games were very well played. The thing that stood out in last year, we didn't swing the bat enough, and their pitching is good. I mean, I didn't expect those games to be high-scoring games, which they weren't. But we need to swing the bat better, and we got to play better defense. And I feel very, very confident in saying we're going to play some young guys defensively, that our defense is as good as we've had here in a while. Very, very confident saying that. Our offense should be good. We got a lot of our guys back. So hopefully we can put 9 guys out that'll give good at-bats, and we can find a way to produce runs. We got to do a better job offensively than what we did last year. I don't even think we challenged them a whole lot offensively last year. And that cannot happen if you're going to go play a team like this, and of course playing their ballpark, their new ballpark. But it's exciting. Certainly big challenge, but it's a great opportunity. We go in there and play well and be able to hopefully come out and win a series.
All right, we have time for a couple more. Next up, we have David Furones of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, a couple questions for you if I could. First, well, you mentioned how unusual it is to start off on the road. What about your plan? You guys, the baseball team, also the athletic department, what's the plan for home games? If there will be fans allowed, what do you expect the atmosphere to be like? And then my second question is, Has anyone really elevated their stock in your mind in these couple weeks of practices leading up to the opener?
Well, the first one in regards to the fans, I don't think they finalized it. I think something might be coming out here shortly, the next maybe day or two. We've kind of gone back and forth with fans. I'm hoping that maybe they allow you hear this number kind of thrown out a lot of places, 20% maybe, which is not it's our ballpark. It might be 500, 600, 700 people. I don't know how many it is, but I don't have that answer right now. But I do know that there's been talks about that, and we should hear something more concrete here in the next day or two, seeing that we don't open up till next weekend here. In regards to guys raising their stock, well, I mean, you're talking about two freshmen here that are going to start on Saturday and Sunday. I would say, again, Alejandro's been pretty consistent. Rosario, that is, Victor's raised his stock a lot lately with his last few outings, which is why he's gotten the nod to be a starter for us on Sunday. So from a pitching standpoint, I'd say him in the starting rotation. Ben Wanger's thrown better of late, which has been great. Anthony Aguayas, who's a guy that I've really like watching him pitch. He's competitive. He's got a good breaking ball. He's a guy that I think we're going to see more of out of the pen. He's probably risen his stock quite a bit. And, from an offensive standpoint, I mean, it's been really the same guys that maybe new to you because they're new players, but a guy like Adrian's big brother, which you're probably going to hear his name quite a bit, but Christian Del Castillo, we call him Deli. Deli has really been just a very consistent player all fall and spring, both offensively, defensively, in every aspect. So he's been a guy that stood out to me in terms of a new guy. And Tony Jenkins has played well. We need him to play well once we start this season because he's played well in the scrimmages. Now it's got to carry over to the season because he's our best outfielder. With him in center field, it certainly strengthens our outfield, in the middle out there. So, that's basically the guys that come to mind right now. We do have some other young guys that are going to be, players to watch that I'm sure you all are going to hear their names quite a bit that I think are going to be very, very good players right out of the chute and certainly going to be very high picks down the road a few years from now.
Thank you.
All right, Gino, we're going to go to Josh White of WVUM. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Gino, how you doing?
Good, Josh. How you doing?
Good. I got two questions for you. One about the freshman pitchers. You guys haven't started a freshman pitcher opening weekend since BRAD in 2011. What makes these two guys, stand out among rookies that they're ready for a challenge, especially going on the road against Florida? And then my follow-up is about Dell.
The thing that I guess separates them is their ability, their talent. They're just very, very talented. They're freshmen, so you obviously the whole thing of being able to adjust to the atmosphere, whatever that may be there, or even if we opened up here, I mean, everybody's going to have the butterflies are going to be rolling. My goodness, especially going to be for them guys, their first game in a UM uniform. But I have no problem playing freshmen. I think my first year we started 4 freshmen in the lineup offensively, so it didn't faze those guys at all. They're still playing for us, and they're great players. And but these guys, Josh, what sticks out is just their ability. They're extremely, extremely talented guys. Now they got to pitch. They got to be able to handle adversity. They're going to get it this weekend. They're going to have to be able to deal with it, and how they handle it's going to show me a lot. But that's something that JD does a great job with our pitchers and bringing these guys along, especially on the maturity side of it. And so, I mean, that's the big difference there in regards to who we say. Dell, you want to talk about Dell?
And then Dell, yeah, when he first came in, you said he had the potential to leave here as one of the best players in program history, and obviously he's shown that over his first 2 years. How has he really elevated his game, even going into his junior year as a top potential draft pick?
Well, he's gotten better and better in every phase. The offensive thing stands out to everybody. He's gotten stronger. He's always been a good hitter, but I mean, his guy gets stronger and his bat's just more powerful. So the more power comes with that, you'll see a few more home. We didn't get a taste of it last year, Josh, because we got cut short. But who knows what he would have put up? He was off to a pretty good start there. So, he's going to be a guy that probably hits more home runs and more RBIs. Those things will increase. He's a tough out. I mean, the bottom line is that's probably one of the toughest outs in college baseball. And he's projected to be one of the top hitters taken in the draft, first hitters taken. So the catching side of it, he's really improved. People don't realize it, but he hasn't caught a lot. In high school, he had a catcher in front of him, a couple years in front of him, that it was a very good player at Gulliver. And so Dell had to wait his turn and really didn't catch till his junior year. And then remember, he comes here as a freshman, and he just kind of spot started a little bit for Mike Mdidis, who was basically our catcher on the weekends. And then Dell would catch some midweek games, but played more outfield. So, and then you have 16 games played last year, and it gets taken away. So he hasn't had really a chance to play that position, which is the hardest position on the field to play, for any long extended period of time to get that consistency. But you'll see he's improved so much, framing, receiving, blocking. His arm has gotten better. I'd like to see it get even more stronger, but it's gotten better. But he's come a long way since his freshman year to where he is now. And again, if he's being talked about as one of the top players taken in the draft, obviously the pro scouts think very highly of him in all phases of his game.